All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking a first look at Dart, the language that's the beating heart of Flutter. Now, if you're getting into Flutter, you might think learning Dart is just a chore you have to get through. But honestly, it's your biggest secret weapon. Let's find out why. So, to really get the relationship between Dart and Flutter, let's use a little analogy. Just imagine for a second that you're not building an app, you're producing a hit movie. In this whole movie production, Dart is the actual language the script is written in. You know, it's the English, it's the Japanese. It gives you the words, the grammar, the syntax to actually write down the story. It's the absolute foundation. And Flutter? Well, Flutter is everything else that brings that script to life. It gives you the actors, which in our world we call widgets. It gives you the scene directions for managing what's happening and the whole structure of the film. You see, you just can't have the movie without the language. And that's why really understanding Dart is so important. Okay, so you're probably thinking, why Dart? I mean, why not a more, common language? Well, turns out Dart was chosen for a few very specific and frankly very smart reasons that make our lives as developers a whole lot easier. Let me show you what I mean. So here it is, the killer feature, Dart's compilation strategy. See, when you're developing, it uses something called just-in-time, or JIT compilation. This is the magic behind Flutter's famous hot reload, where you can see your changes on screen in like less than a second. It's amazing for rapid iteration. But then, and this is the cool part, when you're ready to ship your app, Dart switches gears. It uses ahead-of-time, or AOT compilation. This crunches your code down to super fast native machine code, which gives your app blazing fast startup and just silky smooth performance. You literally get the best of both worlds. Pretty cool, right? Well, the best part is you can start playing with Dart right now. No installs, no setup, no hassle. Let's see how you can write your very first program in, the next 30 seconds. I want you to meet your new best friend, DartPad. Seriously. It's this awesome online editor made by the Dart team themselves. You just go to the website and bam, you can write and run Dart code right there in your browser. It's the perfect little sandbox for trying out everything we're about to talk about. And here's where every journey begins. Just like in a lot of other languages you might know, every Dart app needs an entry point. And that entry point is this little function right here, main. It's the very first thing that runs. You put your code inside those curly braces, like calling the print function to say hello, and that's it. You've just written a complete working Dart program. Now, if there's one core idea you need to internalize to really get Dart, it's this. It's simple, but it changes everything. In Dart, absolutely everything is an object. Let's unpack what that actually means. First, to talk about objects, we gotta talk about classes. A class is just a blueprint. That's the best analogy. Think of a blueprint for a car. It defines what a car should have, properties like color or max speed, and what it can do, methods or actions like drive or brake. It's just the plan. An object, then, is the actual car you build from that blueprint. It's a real, tangible thing. It's an instance of the car class. It's that specific red Ferrari that has a color property set to red. The blueprint is the idea. The object is the reality. And here's where Dart goes all in. In many other languages, you have these special low-level things called primitive types, like numbers and text. Not in Dart. No way. Here, the number 5, that's an object. The string of text, hello, that's an object too. Even a function itself is an object. This consistency is a superpower because it means everything in the language works in a predictable way. All right, with that foundation in place, let's start building up our vocabulary. We need to know how to store and manage data. So let's talk about variables, types, and one of Dart's most amazing modern features. So when you declare a variable, you've got a few key choices. You can use var, and Dart is smart enough to figure out the type for you. Super handy. Then there's final, which means you can only set the value once. You'll see this all over the place in Flutter. And if you have a value that's a true unchanging constant, like the value of pi, you use const. The compiler knows this value before the app even runs, giving you a nice little performance boost. Now, let's talk about a moment of pure pain that every single one of us has felt as the developer. You have an object, let's say a user, and you try to get their name. But what if that user doesn't actually exist? What if the variable is null? In so many languages, that's it. Your app just grinds to a halt. Boom, crash, game over.
This is like one of the biggest sources of bugs out there. It's so frustrating. So the brilliant folks behind Dart asked a really powerful question. What if we could just eliminate this entire category of errors before they ever reach a user?
And their answer is this beautiful thing called null safety. The rule is dead simple. By default, a variable in Dart can never, ever be null. If you actually want a variable to be able to hold a null value, you have to tell the compiler explicitly. You mark its type with a little question mark. This forces you, the developer, to think about and handle null cases up front. And this one simple rule enables incredibly elegant code like this. See that little question mark before the dot? That's the null-aware operator. It's basically you telling Dart, hey, if this user object actually exists, go ahead and give me its name. But if user is null, don't you dare crash. Just give me back null instead. It's a tiny piece of syntax that makes your code infinitely safer.
Okay, so we know how to store data, but how do we make our code actually, do stuff? That's where functions and good old control flow come into play. Let's take a look.
Writing a function in Dart just feels good. It's so clean. You say what it returns, you give it a name, and then you list its parameters. And Dart has these amazing features like named parameters inside curly braces, which makes your code almost self-documenting. Plus, for really simple functions that just return one thing, you can use this slick arrow syntax. It's all designed to be readable and get you coding faster.
And of course, all the classics are here. You've got your if-else statements for making decisions, you've got for loops for going through lists of things, and you have really powerful switch statements for handling a bunch of different possibilities. If you've ever written code before, you'll feel right at home with this stuff.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Let's pull all these threads together and talk about what this means for you, the person who's actually going to be writing the code. Grasping these core concepts is what's going to make you powerful when you start building with Flutter.
Here's the bottom line. Dart is a coder's friend. It's got your back. Its type and null safety will save you from countless bugs. Its syntax is just a joy to write. It's modern and expressive. It's uniquely optimized for building user interfaces with that JIT and AOT combo. And best of all, with Flutter, use this one language for everything. Your logic, your layout, your styling. No more context switching.
So in the end, you have to realize that Dart isn't just a random collection of rules and keywords. It's a complete system, designed from the ground up with one goal in mind, to help you build amazing, high-performance apps faster and with fewer headaches. The foundation is rock solid, the tools are incredible, the path is clear. So the only real question left is, what problem will you solve first?